What are you doing, Jess?
I'm smelling one of my favourite smells.
Yeah, but you're going to stick your nose in it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but no, don't. Oh, my children do that all the time. Stick the buttery knife in the Marmite. We all love Marmite.
No,
but...
do you know what? Not everybody loves Marmite.
What?
It's one of those things that people say you either love it or you hate it. And that is our theme for our assembly today. Hate and love. So let's take a look at some different foods that you might either love or hate. So I'm going to show you some different types of food, and you need to tell us whether you love it with a thumbs up or you hate it with a thumbs down. And if you've never tried it before, you can just do this. Are you ready for our first food? Uh-oh, this is something you might get at Christmas. Brussels sprouts. So, do you love it or hate it? Okay, item number 2. Ooh, now this is something I do enjoy. Olives. Have you tried olives? Do you love them or do you hate them? Haha, right. Number 3. Now we know that I really love this. Marmite. Do you love Marmite or do you not like Marmite? Do you hate Marmite? Ooh, definitely some different opinions out there. Okay. What about baked beans? Who likes baked beans? Maybe on toast, maybe on a potato. Ugh. No, I'm not a fan of baked beans. Okay. Ooh, something sweet. What about marzipan? You might get it on a cake. It tastes a little bit of almonds. Do you love it or do you hate it? Oh, a lot of hate behind me going on. I can feel it. Right. Have you ever tried mackerel? Tiny fish that come in a tin. Do you love them or do you hate them? Or maybe you've never tried them at all. I've never tried one. I don't know. 2 more things. What about coriander? It's a herb that you might get to add into recipes, and actually scientists say that it's in your genetics whether or not you're going to love or hate coriander. When I have coriander, it gives me a headache, so I definitely hate it. What about our last one? This is something sweet again. It's a sweetie, but actually some people say it tastes quite salty. This is licorice. Do you love it or do you hate it? I wonder which of our foods you love the most and whether the person sitting next to you had the same opinions.
What are you reading, Jess? Looks really boring. Brown cover, all words, no pictures.
It's not boring actually. It's a book called Matilda and it's all about a girl who really loves reading and is really brainy and clever.
Oh, she had pigtails too.
She did.
Ooh.
But you're right, it is a bit of a boring cover. But have you never heard the saying, Sam, that you shouldn't judge a book by its cover?
Yeah, I suppose I have, and never really thought of it with books, though.
Yeah, well, we don't actually use it to think about books, because sometimes we use it to describe people, how we can judge people based on their appearances on the outside without really knowing what's going on the inside. And that is not a great way to make decisions about anything. Our story today has somebody who is doing just that. They are making judgments based on what people are like on the outside. I wonder if you can spot them.
One day, an expert in Jewish law came to talk to Jesus. I know that we are told to love God with all our heart, soul and strength, and to love our neighbour as ourselves, the man said. But who is my neighbour? Jesus smiled. Let me tell you a story, then perhaps you will know the answer. This is the story that Jesus told. One day, a Jewish man was travelling from Jerusalem to Jericho when bandits attacked him. They tore his clothes and stole his donkey, and they beat him up and left him for dead. That's a terrible thing to happen, the listening man said. Jesus smiled again. Let me tell you what happened next. Luckily for the man, the road was busy that day. Someone else was walking along, a priest from the temple. Priests are very wise and well respected, the listening man said. I am sure he will help the injured man. Jesus shook his head. The priest saw the man lying on the roadside and quickly crossed over to the other side so that he could pass by as far away as possible. Well, perhaps he was in a hurry, the listening man said. Then another person walked along the road, Jesus explained. This man was a Levite, an assistant in the temple. He also saw the man lying by the road, but he crossed over the road as well and passed by on the other side. I do hope somebody comes along and helps this man soon, the listening man thought to himself. Finally, a Samaritan walked past, Jesus began. Wait, the listening man interrupted. Did you say a Samaritan? Oh dear, I don't like Samaritans. They are so different from us. They believe different things and they don't worship at the same temple as we Jewish people. There's no chance that a Samaritan would help a Jewish person. We are enemies. Jesus just smiled and continued. The Samaritan saw the man lying by the side of the road and he felt compassion for him. He went over to the man and carefully wiped and bandaged his wounds. He lifted him onto his donkey and carried him to the nearest inn. Taking money from his own purse, the Samaritan paid for the man to stay at the inn, to be fed and cared for. When I come back this way, I will pay all the extra costs, he promised the innkeeper. The listening man had gone very quiet. His brow was furrowed as he thought deeply. Who do you think was the neighbour to the man who was attacked? Jesus asked gently. The expert in the law was quiet for a long time, and then he said, the one who helped him was the neighbour, the one who was kind and showed love to him. Now you must go and do the same to others, Jesus said, because anybody can be your neighbour.
Can you imagine having been in the audience the first time Jesus told that story? What would you have made of the outcome?
I wonder who you thought was going to help the man who'd been hurt.
Yeah, and why was it so surprising that it was a Samaritan? You've probably got it. The challenge perhaps is, how would you retell that story today in your own words? Who would be the surprising character who brings the twist at the end? It makes us think about how we judge other people.
I wonder how you feel when you meet someone new for the first time. Do you look at their outside and make decisions about what they're like? How can we get to know what people are like on the inside? What about when somebody meets you? What might they think when they first see you on the outside? And what would you like people to get to know about who you are on the inside?
Yeah, Jess, I'm so glad you told me about this book. It's really good. First page, brilliant illustration. Second page, brilliant illustration. Some of the words are quite fun too, you know. It does take a while to get into things, just like it takes a while to get to know people. But I agree, we shouldn't judge a person or a book by its cover.
Fantastic. I am glad you have come to understand that, Sam. Shall we finish with a prayer and ask God to help all of us to become better at not judging others by their appearances, but getting to know what's inside? Dear God, thank you that you know us inside and out. Help us not to judge others by how they look on the outside, but to spend time getting to know them so that we can know what they're like on the inside. Help us to not judge by appearances. Thank you that you love us inside and out. Amen.
Amen.
What would life be like if we turned it inside out? If there was nothing hidden, out was in and in was out. If your brain was on the outside and your head was full of hair. Ugh. Could we wear our heart for all to see and show the world we care? Don't be a mollusk or an oyster or a scallop or a snail. Squishy on the inside with a thick hard shell. Fill yourself with solid faith and throw away your doubt. We could fill the whole world up with love if we lived inside out. We could fill the whole world up with love if we lived inside out.